Bordeau Pride Nation? Welcome back to another episode of your Detroit Lions Roundtable with DSA. What the hell was that? It's like somebody walked into an accident, okay? But listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you notice the song started out with a very powerful song from Sister Sledge, We Are Family, and that is because we are one pride. That means that we have literally have to be family for this thing to work, okay? And I am excited for that. Now today, we are doing a lot of big things. We got a good show for you today. We got a good panel set up, and we got ourselves a guest today, okay? That guest is somebody that y'all may not have thought would actually be up on this show. I'm going to tell you why I say that. Real has always said that we are the Avengers, and, you know, the Avengers' nemesis is who? Thanos. But in this case, in the place of a perfect place where the lions can lay with the sheep, the Avengers lay with Motorcity Thanos himself. What's going on, Mr. Motorcity Thanos?
Yes, sir. What up, though?
Man, hey, happy to have you on. He is our subscriber guest today. If you would like to be on the round table and talk some football about your Lions, simply reach out and hit any one of us up, put it in on Twitter, Discord, email, whatever, and we will get you on the show. We also have Mr. Detroit Drew in the building. What's going on, Drew?
I'll tell you what, man. Thanos had it right, man. Eliminate half the population. Let's get that snap going.
Only Drew would say that.
Everybody can use that snap right now, honestly.
Yeah.
You ain't lying, man.
And then we have the one half of the amazing, dynamic. I can't even call him Batman because I gotta say one of them is Tony Stark and the other one is Captain America. The question is, who is who? We got Andrew in the building from Real Detroit Lions fans. What's going on, Andrew?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, not much, man. Ready to get this thing going. And then we have Her Majesty herself, the queen of the den, Miss RachelMarieSports. What's going on, Rachel?
What's up, guys? It is super, super rainy, dull day down here, so I am excited to talk some Lions football with y'all tonight.
Yeah. I'm glad y'all finally getting some rain because every time I talk to you, Rachel, I feel like you telling me about some heat and some sun and some stuff that I don't want to hear about because I'm not there. So just put that out there. And last but certainly not least, we have Mr. 313 J Mo, the heart of the city. What's going on, J Mo?
What's good, man? What's good to all my DSA family out there? We're going to have a good show today.
Yes. J-Mo, can you hit that chat up for me so we can get that roll call going? And to everybody who's in here, if you have not done so, please hit that like button really fast for us. Please make sure that you reach out and give us a little love and support by hitting that thumbs up for us. Appreciate that.
All right, we got Top Dog in the building. We got Ghost Gunner in the building. What up, though? We got Wheezy D313 in the building. We got K-Man in the building, Devin99, Detroit's own Big Will, C. Perry in the building, D-Map Zoom in the building, Chris Cashball in the building. What's good, y'all?
Yes. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Obviously, the Lions tend to give you that type of news, and there's a lot going on with the Lions that would make you ask the question of what is there to talk about. But through this thing of process of elimination, you got to just figure out what's the important thing. So we kick this show off with the first question right here on the bottom, which is simply a very straight point question of what must the Lions do to have a run game this year? And we're going to start that off with our guest, Motorcity Thanos.
Man, yeah, I think honestly, like I said before, they need offensive linemen that can get push-up field, point blank. Because if you get push-up field, that helps create the big plays. The 30-yard runs, 40-yard runs, touchdowns, and the whole nine. So you got to get that push-up field. You can't have offensive linemen playing patty cake at the line of scrimmage.
I agree. What up, those tongue slipping, Stephen Farmer? I'm up here going crazy. But yeah, I can agree with that statement. That they need to get people to get push up on that field. What say you, Detroit Drew?
A big part of it is just the mental aspect of it. If you go back and watch some of the games throughout the last couple of years, obviously we got new coordinators, new coaches, and stuff along the lines. But I just feel like we haven't been committed to it. And if you just watch the games, it feels like second half we don't run the ball as much because we're playing catch up. part of playing a great run game is staying committed to it. Have faith in your guys. Offensive linemen are going to want to run the ball because they're more active and engaged into it. Stop playing Stafford ball as much. When it's there, you know he's going to show up. Don't shy away from it. You got to commit to it, man. You got two really good quality running backs right now. I want to see them utilized. I don't know how well they're going to work together, but man, I can't wait to watch those two guys, man. We should see a lot of good plays from them, a lot of highlights, a lot of stiff arms, a lot of jukes, a lot of ankle breakers out there. You have to stay committed, man. In the second half, come out, run the ball heavy, man. Get it down the field. Because a lot of times, if you watch, man, you start passing the ball, defense is on their heels. They don't know what to expect. A quick draw could just open up your entire run game. A lot of it's confidence. Put faith in your linemen. Put faith in your running backs, and you should have a pretty solid running game. You got all the talent to do so.
Yeah, listen. Wait a minute, not a Lions fan, but that's interesting. Okay, it says I don't think they had the talent to be engaged into the offensive line last year, like they do this year. Hey, I'm with you, and I love the fact that you're not a Lions fan, but you still here with us, man. So we appreciate that. Listen, this is how I look at it. To me, the way that they really get a run game going this year is the same thing that you see that they did last year. They started to show more of a commitment to it, even though they didn't necessarily commit to one particular player and getting it done. But I think if they can stick to that commitment, they can keep that drive to say we want to run the ball first. I think that right there in and of itself would definitely give us a chance for a run game this year, because they cannot come out and do this snap count with our running backs. If they hot, they hot. Run them some more, run them harder. And right now what we're seeing is somebody who's literally just being put on snap counts and taken off the field because, you know, they felt like it was a sunny day and something good to do. And I think that's not what's up, and that's not what should be happening, in my opinion. Let's go on over there to the Queen. What you got for the people? What must the Lions do to have a run game this year?
Drew definitely took part of my reason right out of my mouth. They absolutely need to commit to the run. I noticed the same exact thing. They do move away from it in the second half, even in those games where it was semi-successful in the first half. You know, it's disheartening to see them move away from what's working. But then again, you know, defense was digging those holes, and then you play a lot more. You're letting Stafford use his arm a lot more. But besides committing, I also noticed that sometimes our play calling can be pretty predictable when it comes to the run as well. It's like, you know, it's almost, you can bet money that they're going to go out there and on first down, they're going to run the ball, and, you know, wasn't really working. They get another first down. What are they going to do? They're going to run the ball. It just becomes kind of predictable to the point where my fiance is like, you know what? If they just switched it up a little bit, maybe the other team wouldn't know exactly what's about to happen. But it's committing. It's being less predictable, rotating your running backs now that you have a few to prevent injury, like try to give them a better chance at success. And then, of course, you know, all that to be said, this O-line has got to do the damn thing.
Listen, when the Queen speaks, I listen. All right, now we got 27 in the chat. We got a total of 20 likes. Now let's get those thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. 21 now. So let's get those thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate all the support that you are giving us, and we're going to be here doing this every Tuesday and every Thursday. So make sure that you stay tuned in and you like, subscribe, and subscribe to all the members of the DSA. Last but certainly not least, J-Mo, what must the Lions do to have a run game this year?
Well, everybody obviously is taking my answers. My main answer was about the commitment, but at the end of the day, whether you're committing, whether the players have to show up on the field and actually produce, at the end of the day, it's all up to one guy. That one guy is Darrell Bevell. Can you bring a run game to Detroit, a consistent run game? Darrell Bevell has to, first of all, he's a part of, you know, being committed and calling those run plays. And he comes from Seattle where they run. So I don't think that he should have a problem being committed. And now that he has Kerryon and Swift, just stay committed to the run game, get used to it, get Stafford a little bit more comfortable. But at the end of the day, these rookie offensive linemen that we drafted, Jonah and Big Nasty, man, I think that they have to really show up and be able to play in a good rotational or starter roles. And our free agent signing, Big V, has to live up to his contract. And Taylor Decker, just please be better. That's all I'm asking. Like, just be better, please. But at the end of the day, Daryl Bevel is at the helm of this offense, and he's going to have to figure out a way to bring that run game to Detroit.
Yeah, listen, I think you touched on a lot of it, and I think that when you look at this year, you're going to see a lot of people. My son excited about it. You're going to see a lot of people jumping in and understanding.
We lost him.
Well,
I think the Lions will have a run game this year. Haven't had that much consistency, but overall, what I started to notice with this team in particular was that they are starting to make some strides towards doing the right thing. Now we got the Hook Cam in the building. What's going on, Cam? Welcome to the show, brother. And if you have not subscribed to the Hook Cam, please do so. Also, I gotta tell y'all, man, y'all listen. Pride Nation, y'all serious. I'm gonna tell y'all how serious y'all are. Y'all so serious that there was a young man who had just started his YouTube channel. He had not been out long, and you all literally showed up and got him to 100 subscribers real fast. So to you, I take my hat off and congratulate y'all, because that's what the Pride does. You make sure that you spread this thing like a wildfire. Okay. Now moving on to the next question.
Hold up, Luke, you just gonna skip me, bro?
Did I? You know what, Andrew? Because listen, because it's Andrew and then it's Drew. It just threw me off. That's all, bro. My bad.
We have to sit next to each other on the round
I know,
table.
man. I know, bro. My bad. Andrew, my apologies. What must the Lions do to have a run game this year?
Well, I got to take it a step further from what Rachel said. We were so predictable on first and second down, and it was always a run up the middle. Run up the middle, between the guards, between the center. And I'm just like, yo, I am sitting at home watching this, screaming my brains out because you guys do the same shit on every single running play. Can you please bounce it outside? Do some outside zone. Change it up. Play to the scheme of your offensive linemen's talent and their strengths. Don't just try and make them fit into a system that isn't going to work. You're a coach. You need to coach up your players or do something that's more effective. Because Carry-On's first season compared to his second season, yeah, he's a little banged up. We had some injuries, but that should not happen. You need to get back to the outside zone running, because that's when we were a lot more efficient.
Listen, I like what you say, because this is one of the reasons I'm gonna eat some crow on this. I blame Patricia for this, because I always blame the person who's running the ship. I always blame that. Like if I pay a mechanic to fix my car, and I go to, say, a reputable like auto place, if that guy don't do my car right, I'm mad at the people who own it, because y'all the ones who supposed to be able to make sure this stuff is right. And I was on the head of Matt Patricia, because I said, listen, in that Cardinals game with 5 minutes 51 seconds, you got to be able to do something other than a bunch of dives and try to chew clock. But I realized that, you know what, that offense really is Daryl Bevel's baby. And so what you saw was his play calling that led to that type of thinking. Head coach should want to correct it, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna put that one on Patricia when I rethink about it. So that's a good point, and I think you make up a good point about them doing something different other than just going up the gut. Because I knew a dive was coming every time they lined up. I was like, here come a dive and another dive, and you could have literally played a beard game and see who can get drunk first off of the dive plays they was running. It was that bad.
I'm down.
So I'm down. Of course you is. Of course you is. So let's get to this next question, though. And we're going to talk this off with Mr. I'm Down, Mr. Detroit Drew. Would the Lions use the tight end more this season?
God, I hope so. I don't really know how you can use them any less. So, I mean, there's only room for improvement. I see that our local Bears fan says that the Bears are going to have a 10 tight end set. I don't think that we need to do anything drastic with this tight end game, but incorporate the play action more. And it's going to give people like TJ a wide open target, because people aren't going to know what to guard. I mean, we got too many weapons offensively for everyone to be covered. even if it's using him as a decoy. I mean, this guy can catch almost anything you throw to him. And if you incorporate Jesse James to the mix, who's got reliable hands, if he ever touches the field again, I don't know what was up with that last year, but both of the tight ends right there can catch almost anything in their reach, man. They got great hands. Incorporate them. And I was very disappointed with that last year as something that we need to improve. If you get someone like TJ going, it's what you call a hot start, man. You get him 2 catches in a row, he's going to be confident. Stafford's going to be confident. And then it's going to open up things for your wide receivers on the end. And then to kind of piggyback off the question, the last one, you start getting people across the middle. Defenses have to play back. And that's what will open up your run game too. It goes hand in hand. So, God, I hope they incorporate them much more.
Yeah, I think the idea that it can't get no worse is the truth. But I also just look at history, and the history shows that Darrell Bevel, whatever part of his game that was weak, he makes adjustments to make it a strength. So if you go back and you simply look at the Seattle Seahawks when they first got Jimmy Graham, Darrell Bevel tried to get him the ball. It didn't work. The second year, he damn near force-fed it to him. I think this year you're going to see a whole lot of tight end play. Not because it's the Patriots way. It's because that's what Darrell Bevel likes to do. He likes to run the ball, suck everybody up, and then use athletic tight ends to give you a shorter target. So I can see that happening big time. I think that they most definitely will use the tight ends more. That includes Jesse James, because I'm pretty sure Jesse James' agent has probably been talking to people, telling them, hey, you paid me, give me an opportunity, because if you don't, I'm sitting here and I'm not getting used, and perception is majority of what people go by in this league. And if the perception is I can't play, I'm not going to be able to, feed my family. So I'm pretty sure that there's been some type of conversation there, but I think you're right, Drew. J-Mo, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I hope we can find and resurrect Mr. Milcart and Jesse James. But I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that the Lions will use the tight ends more, and I have no doubt in my mind that we'll have a top 10 tight end group. I think, with Marvin Jones' inconsistency with getting hurt, because when Marvin Jones is healthy, I mean, we know how great he is. But with his inconsistency with injuries recently, I think TJ Hockenson is going to be put in that second receiving role after Kenny Golladay. I think Darrell Bevel will be making adjustments to make everything better. And I think Hockenson working with Tony Gonzalez, it's just a lot of things going for him in this second year. I think he'll be healthier. He'll know more. And once we get that running game going, people are not going to be able to shade so much coverage his way. And I think second year of the offense, I think TJ's going to have a breakout, like an extremely breakout year. And not just TJ, Jesse James, and Hunter Bryant too. Yes, Hunter Bryant. I think I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to use the tight ends more. And it's going to be a real strength for us for the first time since way back to when we was throwing touchdowns to Tony Sheffield.
Right.
That was way back 2012, 2013 type. But I think Darrell Bevel is really going to take this offense to the next level. And I think TJ Hockenson is just going to be a much better football player, and we'll use him more.
I mean, absolutely. Chris, man, when you coming on the show, Chris says with this new O-line, you're going to see a bunch of counter stretch plays and dives with around 18 to 22% outside. It will really depend on where the mic lines up and where the safety enters the box. Man, Chris, when you coming on the show? Now I bagged long enough and got Thanos on, and he wanted to snap us out of existence. I know you can make it happen. Come on, man. All right. Ramon the New Wave says Galladay wants $20 million a season. We're gonna jump right into that. we gonna jump right into that. We'll leave the tight end question for a minute, but I'm just gonna go through and get a quick survey of everybody. Let's start off with you, Rachel. Would you give Galladay $20 million a season?
Are we sure that he wants that? I mean, I see him as I don't know if I see him as being the asking for that kind of money guy. I would definitely have to see the source on that. Not that it's not true. If it is, no. I mean, I just only
if it is, no.
What receivers are getting paid like that? I mean, the
Amari
best.
Cooper is getting paid $20 million a year.
I mean, but what Amari is doing in Dallas, you know what Galladay kind of does for us here, but I also 20 million, man, that's a lot.
It is.
I want to pay him, but I'm thinking if he wants to be up there in the top tiers of the highest paid wide receivers, I'm all in on that. I'm good with that. He deserves that. 20 mil that's a lot. That's a lot for me.
Motorcity Thanos. Rumor is
Yes, sir.
Galladay wants $20 million a season. $20 million a season. Would you give it to him?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna need you to drop a few less passes and score some more touchdowns if you want me to pay you that much money.
Ooh, high standards. That's what I want to hear.
Because that's a lot, man. And you're gonna need to tack on a couple more yak and yards to your stats because that's elite top tier wide receiver money.
Okay. Detroit Drew. $20 million a season. Would you pay Kenny Galladay that?
No, I would not. I like Kenny G, but I mean, I'm not a huge fan of paying receivers that kind of money unless they're a Jerry Rice, a Calvin Johnson, someone who can actually change the game all on their own. I like Kenny G. I don't want to see him go, but if that's what he's asking for, again, like I'm not paying that. Like I want to get the best value for my money. And I mean that would free up a lot of money for us to put in the defense, offensive line, whatever it would be. I'm sorry, Kenny, but I don't think you're worth it, man.
Now, the Hood Cam, aka Cam, my brother from another mother, he says Matthew Stafford can take an average receiver and make him really, 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 really good. Listen, Andrew, $20 million is rumored what Galladay wants. Would you pay $20 million for Kenny Galladay?
That's a hard no for me, man.
Man, y'all.
We've talked about this a little bit. Dude, there is no way in hell I am spending $20 million on Kenny Galladay. And I can give you like 5 million reasons, but I'm not even going to get into it because I know J-Mo's right after me and I know what he's going to say. So go ahead, J-Mo.
J-Mo, are you giving Kenny Galladay $20 million a season, sir?
Look, man, $20 million is basically quarterback money. Like, that's crazy. I don't really know how true this story is, but I'm gonna be honest with you. You have Amari Cooper, who I think Kenny Galladay is better than, making $20 million. And the market is high. We're not paying him 20, it's 18, but would I pay him $20 million? Oh my gosh. Like, that's gonna put me through a lot of heartache. But I'm going to have to because when we don't and he doesn't take what we offer him and then he gets 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns because Stafford is healthy, then we're still going to have to pay him $20 million. And then if we don't, he's going to leave and then we'll have to hope we find another Kenny Galladay. Like, because I feel like he's going to have a better season than he did the year before. So, but $20 million, we going to have to talk about taking that down. You getting like a 2-year contract, man. I don't know, man. That's like franchise tagging a guy. Like, that's crazy.
Okay, if you have just joined the show, thank you so much for coming in to check us out. Make sure you hit that like button. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. And if you go in my description, you're going to see the Hood Camps channel. You're going to see Glover Quin, former Detroit Lions safeties channel. You're going to see Writerwrong, the newest up-and-coming Detroit Lions YouTuber. And you're going to see Jackson Kruger Sports channel, all linked in there as my featured channels. But outside of that, you're going to see the DSA members channel linked in there, and you want to make sure that you subscribe to them and hit that because you don't want to miss on anything. Now, here's my take on this $20 million for Kenny Galladay. Pay him. Get him that 20. Not only do I not have a problem with him taking that 20, if you got to just look at it from the standpoint that this is prior to last year for Marvin Jones, so that money coming off the books, that $6 million that you gave Danny Amendola is coming off the books. So essentially, yeah, if he's the highest paid receiver and then you can go out and still get other talent in the draft or as a free agent, do so. It's $20 million. You gave $18 million to Trey Flowers. And Trey Flowers is not up there in the upper echelon in terms of pass rushers, in my opinion, but you gave him 18. Get a man to 20. The cap getting ready to go up anyway, and you getting ready to lose receivers anyway. Plus, you don't want this narrative to keep happening where they're talking about the Lions don't want to pay people, or the Lions don't want to be there. Let's eliminate all that and pay the man.
I think you have to take into account if you don't pay him and he rejects the deal and balls out, we're gonna be in a world of hurt because now he's gonna be asking for 22. Like, it's gonna be real bad. You don't want that to happen.
Hey, I get it. Now, to piggyback back into the question of would the Lions use the tight end more this season, Andrew, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lions really need to take a page out of San Fran's playbook, and they need to get Hockenson involved like they get George Kittle involved. I mean, they're very similar tight ends. They played at the same college. You know, they were drafted to do similar things. I want to see Hockenson block people like George Kittle can, because, man, that kid is probably the best pass blocking tight end I've ever seen, let alone he's a top 2 tight end in the league. And then what it does for their run game is just unheard of. I mean, you have 4 running backs that none of them are big name running backs. None of them are, that flashy, whatever, but they all average like 5+ yards a carry. Please, for the love of God, let them take a page out of San Fran's book and just kind of develop our team's offense like they do. And then it's pretty much plugging in Stafford instead of Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. And I guarantee you our offense is going to run all over everyone.
Motorcity Thanos, what are your thoughts? Will the Lions use the tight end more this season?
If they want to win, they will. I mean,
he said they try to get
that's the best response right there.
Yeah, if they want to win, they do. Because how many teams have you seen where the tight end, well, the good teams rather, where the tight end was the quarterback safety net? You seen it with Tom Brady and Gronk. I mean, pretty much the dude was throwing bodies off of him every time you catch a ball. You got Kittle, you got Tony Gonzalez when he was in the league. So it's like that can be Matthew Stafford's safety net. When he needs 10 yards or 5 or whatever he needs, he can go right to TJ. And honestly, TJ's only second year in the league anyway. So I think he needs the reps to help him develop his game and find his identity in the NFL. You can't do that in practice and training camp and all that. Like, there's no better experience than in-game experience. And that's what he needs. He needs in-game experience. And in order for him to gain that, he needs the football.
Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure I didn't miss everybody on that last question for the tight end. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But we're going to go ahead and kick it over to the next one. Okay. And this one right here gets right into the cusp of it all. But who is that one Lion player that the Lions just cannot cut, even though they may be on the bubble? Like, they just can't cut this person, even though they may be on the bubble. We're going to start this one off with you, Drew. We're going to start this off with you, Andrew. Who's that one person for you?
Oh, man. I got to say Jesse James. Man, I mean, you invested so much money in this guy. You had him listed as your first-string tight end. Clearly was not your first-string tight end. And you went out and spent hella money on him. Can you please just give this guy the ball or involve him more? Because if they cut him after signing $24 million deal, I'm going to lose my shit.
Well, I mean, listen, if you look at it from that standpoint, I get it. I think the guy for me that I believe is on the bubble, but I'm like, man, they may not want to do it. Like, they just may not. It's Ty Johnson. I think that with Ty Johnson, at the very least, you still got a guy who stayed healthy enough for last year to be a kick and punt returner guy who can still give you some type of build upon, in return from you drafting him at the running back spot. Because if you think about it, if Kerryon goes down, that means we're down to DeAndre Swift, Bo, and Huntley. I need a little bit more insurance because Bo has a history of injury as well. So to me, I think they might want to hold up before deciding to release Ty Johnson. So that's just my opinion. J-Mo, what are your thoughts? I mean, who's that guy that you like they cannot get rid of, but he may be on the bubble?
People might be surprised by this because when I thought about it, I thought about the skill position players but I'm still scared about this offensive line. And it seems like whenever our offensive line, I mean, like the Lions, I have seen in like multiple seasons, Lions will have like the Lions got the best offensive line in the league for the first 4 weeks. And then the whole offense line just turned into shambles and everyone gets injured. So I'm going with Bo Benchois. I still think he has a lot of I think he has a lot of potential. And I still want to develop him. Like I still think he was a 3rd-round talent that just didn't get drafted. But at that guard spot, I'm more concerned about the guard spot than I am with the tackle spot, even though the tackle spot I'm concerned about too. Without those guards, we got to have a Bo Benchois to be able to back up those guys on the line, and hopefully he doesn't get cut because maybe we keep an extra player in another group. But I think Bo Benchois could give us some value.
Okay. Now there's 55 people in the chat. We got 37 likes. Let's get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have just joined the show, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you look on the bottom, you will always see the current topic scrolling on the bottom and see what we're talking about. Had to come up with a way because I know that it was a lot of people asking, hey, where y'all at right now? So this is where we are. It's right at the bottom. So if you're new, please subscribe to everybody. It's all in the description. And if you are a returner, it's that time right now for y'all to light the chat up. I need to see some outrageous emojis to let me know you still here and that you gave me a like. If you already gave us a like on this video and you enjoying what you're hearing right now, light the chat up. I want to see the most outrageous emojis. I want dabbing emojis. I want to see brains blowing up emoji. I want to see it all. Light the chat up. Let us know that you still here with us. All right, so listen, Drew. I mean, who is that one player that you just like, listen, the Lions cannot cut. They may be on the bubble, but you cannot cut them.
I don't know if he's on the bubble or not, but I'm going to go – because I think either one of these guys is on the bubble. It's either Jamal Agnew or Marvin Hall. One of those guys is on the bubble. Not saying that they will cut him because they just moved Agnew to wide receiver. How many receivers we got? We got like 5 people on this wide receiver roster, 6 people on this wide receiver roster right now. We brought in Geronimo Addison. He might be on the bubble. I would much rather cut Addison than cut either one of those 2 guys right there. So it's kind of a 2 birds, 1 stone situation. I'm very interested to see how Agnew is going to do at wide receiver. And Marvin Hall's got big playability. I don't want to lose either one of those guys. But with the addition of Addison and just putting more and more people at the wide receiver position, it's bringing in competition. I like to see that. I just don't want to lose either one of those guys because they got a lot of potential, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rachel, one player that right now could be on that bubble, but you like the Lions cannot let this guy go. It's too soon. Who's that one player for you?
For me, I do have to echo Drew on Jamal Agnew. I think in multiple roundtables now I've said it may not be a popular opinion, but I think he did step up last season, even as a returner, after a down season the year before. So I'm interested to see him out there at wide receiver too. He has a breakaway speed that I just would hate to see it go somewhere else. I feel like it might be one of those people that, he goes somewhere else and it kind of comes back to bite us. But besides echoing that, it's also Jalen Reeves-Maybin for me because the linebacker room is getting pretty full, but he's a special team standout and he's coming off of his most impactful season to date. I just think as far as especially his use in special teams, I'd hate to see him go because that linebacker room is getting too full to support him staying.
Okay, listen, I think y'all all made some good choices. I seen that Devin99 says he really hopes that Quentin Cephas makes the team. I've seen stranger things. I mean, Chris Lacey made it one year, and J-Mo almost lost his wig. So,
I did lose my wig, and then Chris Lacey had a talk.
As soon as he heard the name, he was like, "Chris who? Oh my God, Chris who?" I ain't trying to open up no wounds, man. I ain't trying to open up no wounds. All right, all right. So listen, let's get on to this next question because. This was a question that was sent to me by a subscriber that wanted me to ask this question, so I put it on there. And the question is what is the Lions' best positional group on the team? We're going to start this one off with you, J-Mo. What is the best positional group right now on the Lions?
Oh man, that's tough. But You know what? I'm gonna go with the wide receivers.
Okay.
I mean, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, Kenny Galladay. I know you don't think Cephas making the team, but Quentin Cephas, Marvin Hall, and Jamal Agnew. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the wide receiver, bro. I don't think I have to expound on that. I think they're the best position group on the team, definitely.
Okay. All right. Motorcity Thanos, what say you? What is the best position group on the Detroit Lions right now?
I got to piggyback off J-Mo. I think it's the wide receiver group because I think that's where the most talent is when you look at each positional group. Our running backs, we can't say yet because we haven't seen what Swift got at the NFL level. And if, Huntley makes the team or not, so it's got to be wide receivers.
Okay. Detroit Drew, what do you say? I mean, what is the best positional group on the team right now?
I don't want to be a broken record, but I think it's receiver. I mean, we just got too much talent there, man. So I don't know if I can think of another one because I think it's head and shoulders better than anything else we got on this team right now. Anytime you have two potential Pro Bowlers and Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay, I mean, that's just explosive offense right there. They've been with Stafford for a few years now, so they got that chemistry. Their timing's down pack. It's all clicking together right now. I just don't think that anywhere else we really have that chemistry or just pure raw talent right now. Over time, I think this defense will grow and the cornerbacks will be there, but we got a lot of new additions over there, so I just don't think the chemistry is there for them yet. So I'm going to go with receivers as well.
All right, listen, I'm hitting a lot of receiver love. Andrew, what say you? I mean, the best positional group right now on the Detroit Lions is who?
Yeah, I mean, someone commented in the chat. They were like, yo, like Stafford makes our receivers look better than they are. And I do agree with that. And I think our receivers are still pretty good. But I'm going to have to go with secondary. And I know that's not necessarily a position because that covers cornerbacks and safeties.
Still a positional group.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, like, dude, when you look at it, like, Walker is a dog. Anyone who is not familiar with Atlanta, Desmond Trufant is crazy slept on, all right? Crazy slept on. You still have Justin Coleman. You have Amani, who could easily be the starter across from Trufant if we didn't draft Okudah. And then you went out and spent your first round on Okudah, and you brought in Duron Harmon. Like, I mean, on paper, man, I know they haven't played together yet, but that is a very, very talented group.
Okay. Not a Lions fan, but says, at Luke, when Ragnar was at guard, was he next to Wagner or Decker? Both, actually, but he played mostly next to Decker. But he did both. They moved him all around, man. They was using him a lot. So you're going to see him at the left and the right guard, and then you saw him at center. But I think center is his true position. Here's my thoughts on this. The best positional group is by far the running back group, and I'm going to tell you why. That is going to be the focal point of this team going forward this season. And when you look at it from top to bottom, you got your patient runner and carry on, your change of pace and Swift, your speed guy and Jason Huntley, your or I should call him your jack of all trade, but your speed guy can be even Ty Johnson, and you get your power guy in Bo. I think they're keeping all those running backs, and I think Ty might make it. All he got to do is show that his vision improved. That's all he got to do, and I think he makes it. I think that is going to be the focal point of us going forward, and therefore, I think that's the best group for us. In my opinion, that's all I'm pointing out for you. Now, again, we got 60 people in the chat. We got 44 thumbs up. Can we get that thing closer to 50 if it's possible? If you just came in here, hit that like button for us. Very much appreciate that. And then we'll go over to the next question. So, again, I had another subscriber hit me up with some questions, and I told him that I will try my best to get as many of them in here as possible. But his question is, who is the most overrated player on the team? Now, this one hit me hard because I had to think hard about this one. I had to really think. Who is the most overrated player currently on the team? I'm going to start this one off with you, Motorcity Thanos.
Yeah, well, like you said, for me, I was stuck on this one for a minute when I saw it. But the first name that comes to mind for me, man, is Jared Davis. Because for somebody, I mean, I know it's not the kid's fault where they get drafted, but for Jared Davis to be drafted as high as he was. I don't think the production shows for where he was picked. And I mean, that man overran a lot of sacks and tackles and gave up, some key plays in games that we should have won. I mean, I know it's not exactly, and I know that's a disadvantage for him, but primary example, the Ezekiel Elliott play in Dallas, which really pissed me off, by the way. But, I just really think that he should have his game at a higher level than where it is. I mean, it could just be because of where he's positioned, but, I mean, we won't know until they move him.
I'm just amazed at how many people swiftly type Davis' name out that fast to post it. I've never seen it. I've never seen that. Like, I've never seen it.
If y'all don't think he that good.
Wait. We go get into it. But I just said, I've never seen Davis' name pop so fast. I'm like, and like, it was quick, swift, like Davis. I was like, okay. So, again, it is what it is. That's the point. We're gonna go on down to you, J-Mo. Who is the most overrated player on the Lions right now?
As I said, I don't know how Jared Davis is overrated when all fans do is shit on him. So I don't understand. I've seen so much Jared Davis slander. You would have thought he was Tahir Whitehead. So I don't know how that makes him overrated. But anyway, sadly, I can't pick one player. I gotta pick two players. I'm look, because they lumped in together. The most two overrated players on this team is Jeff Okudah and DeAndre Swift. I know y'all don't like it, but I love those guys. Look, I think Jeff Okudah is gonna be solid. I think Swift is gonna be solid, but I don't think they're as good as the Lions fan base think they are. I really do.
Oh, shit. J-Mo trying to start a riot. What is
they all overrated, man. People comparing Swift to Barry Sanders. Like, chill out.
Oh, my. Okay. Let me just say, J-Mo's thoughts are not the views of the D. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Okay. Hey, all right. Hey, listen. Them the two guys he says overrated. I'm not gonna kill him on it. Detroit Drew, who do you have as the most overrated player on our roster right now?
I am going Kerryon Johnson.
Whoa. Okay, talk about it.
Look, I like Kerryon. He's got a lot of potential, but I think that the fans are putting too much pressure on him to be a top 10 running back in the league right now. He just hasn't proved. He's got the ability to, but right now, I just don't think he's got the right frame for it. He's injury prone. He's been banged up his first 2 years in the league, and that can all change. And I could look stupid here in a few months when we get football back, which is probably what's going to happen. But he just hasn't. He hasn't done enough. And part of it's probably the team not putting enough faith in him and not giving him enough touches. But when we finally do, he gets ticky-tack injuries, and then it turns into a serious injury. Then he's out for the year. I just think he needs this 1-2 punch, and I think Swift is a good complementary running back to pair with him. And I'm really high on that 1-2 punch right there. But for Johnson to be by himself right now, he's just not that guy. And the fans hype him up, and he does make a good play, but he's not a guy who he can do it by himself. He needs help. He needs linemen. He doesn't create room for himself right off the handoff. I mean, how many times this year did we see linebackers or even linemen get right through our line? He doesn't have a move to get by him all the time. He's got to get better. Listen, but right now, he is the most overrated player.
Listen, I'm not shooting down none of y'all answers.
Hold on. My man, like, we saw Kerryon and juke 3 people in one play, dog. It's like, oh my god.
No, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. When the subscriber asked these questions, I thought, oh, this is brilliant. I thought this is brilliant because it's going to force you to come to some conclusions about some things that you may not want to. Now, again, we got 60 people in the chat. If you have not hit that like button, please do so. We are at 50 likes so far. We're trying to get to that 60. Please do so. And if you have not checked out the link in the bottom of this description, you will see that there is a web page for the DSA. You will also see that there are a number of links to the DSA members and some featured channels that I respect and I want to give support to. So Listen, J-Mo came through quick. Was like his views are not the reflection.
Like, look, I was 100% with Drew. I'm like, yeah, Carrion's a little overrated. I'm with you. Then he said he can't get guys out the backfield. I'm like, Carrion was a spin move king last year.
But I think what he's saying is, I think what he's saying is he's not making the first person miss as often as he would.
And that's not true. That's not true.
All right, well, go back and watch when he does get space and he's got to beat the linebacker. I'd say good. Not all the time.
Fact that there's 3 other linebackers right there because they got 8 men in the box, man. That's what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Okay. All right. Listen. Yeah, y'all got me up here dying. Andrew, most overrated player on this team.
Man, I couldn't agree more with Motorcity Thanos or Detroit Drew.
Dude,
Drive Davis, that just drives me nuts. Everyone defends this guy, and I'm like, bro, 4 years in the league, you haven't done a single thing. 4 years, you haven't done a single thing. And people are like, oh, he's a beast. Bro, you sleeping on him. Sleeping on what? Show me something. Show me something, please. And then as far as Carrion goes, I mean, the dude has not played a full season. He's on his 3rd year in the league, has not played a full season. And, yeah, he shows crazy flash. He has some plays that you're like, damn, that was a top-tier running back play. But when you look at him through an entire game, it is never consistent. It is never consistent. He's never just had a game where every run you're like, damn, that was solid. Oh, shit, you juked the linebacker out of his cleats? You know, it's not like that. So, yeah, he had a pretty solid rookie season when he was in, and we had Ragnow at guard, which made our run offense a lot more efficient. But overall, he's not a Gurley. He's not a McCaffrey. He's not Derrick Henry. He's not even close to those top 10 guys. And it kills me because I like Carrion, but he's just not there yet, and he's hurt all the time.
All right, listen. I cannot shoot down anything somebody said. J-Mo over there ready to come off the leash. He like a big boy.
Y'all be saying this stuff. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just glad Andrew didn't say TJ Hockenson because I thought that's what he was gonna say for sure.
You thought he was going to TJ? You is so silly.
I like TJ, bro.
Come on, up to the height. I was ready for it.
Hey, he's only in the 2nd year. He had like 8 games, man.
All right, the queen of the den. What are your thoughts? All right, who you think is the most overrated player on the Lions?
All right. Well, this question had me stumped as well because at first I was like, overrated. Like, what Lions player is actually overrated? But it got me thinking, like, a player can't be overrated if there's not a large group of fans that prop them up to be something that they're not or are not yet. So the way that I came to, and with that line of thinking kind of behind me, because now y'all are going to be like, oh gosh, but I'm going to say it's DeAndre Swift, and hear me out.
Yes.
It's because of the expectations that fans are already putting on him when it's not going to be easy for him to put up gaudy statistics in a running back by committee and behind an unproven line, a line that we don't know can necessarily support the run. So what I'm saying is he's only overrated in the sense that fans may be unwittingly expecting a little bit more than he might be able to handle. So with those expectations kind of running a little bit wild, it's if we tempered them, then he wouldn't be overrated. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I'm picking up what you put down.
I said DeAndre Swift. I agree with you 100%. It's the expectation. People expect him to be the best running back in the league. Chill out.
Can I just say one thing about that?
Okay, I'm gonna give you a shot really quick. J-Mo, Real said he wanted you to know TJ Hockenson is the most overrated.
I knew one of y'all was gonna say it.
Motorcity Thanos, go ahead, man. Go ahead and expand on it.
I mean, the only thing I would really want to say about that was, yeah, fans are going to do that, but that's primarily, in my opinion, because when you're being told you got something good, there's fans that's literally gonna take that and run with it. You know what I mean? Like if you when the Pistons get ready to come up for the draft, if they draft a guy and then somebody tell you, hey, that guy you draft right there, that's the next Michael Jordan, and they hear him from more than one person, it's gonna be fans who's just gonna take that and run with it. Like, hey, we got the next Michael Jordan over here. You know, so
Well, and yeah, I mean, to that, like, you know, all the common answers and stuff like that we heard, like Jared Davis or maybe even Jesse James or anything like that, like, if there's not a large group of people that considers them to be something special, then how can they really be overrated, you know? So this, I said, it's at the start of this question, it was a hard question for me to answer because originally I'm like, no Lions players overrated.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I actually was upset about the pick. I picked J.K. Dobbins. So if I'm just being honest, like I thought the Lions should draft a running back. I wasn't against that at all, but I picked J.K. Dobbins because I thought that J.K. Dobbins is a more bruiser type back. And he can get other things done in a run game, and he suits the Lions' run game better than a Swift. So, you know, it kind of is what it is.
Listen, I just love how everybody has this strong opinion. I'm ready to shoot mine out there. Like I said, the subscriber who gave me this question, shout out to you. He told me, don't tell everybody my name, but shout out to you. Shout out to you. You got us where you want us. Okay. Let me put it like this. To me, if I had to name somebody who's the most overrated player on the Detroit Lions, it's going to be Julian Alcor. All I kept hearing from people is if he didn't break his leg, man, he's going to be a first-round pick. For who? For who? Go back and look at the draft and tell me who was taking him. He was not coming off like that. That's not for real. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying the hype. When I watched the film, I didn't see a guy who was a first-round talent. I did not see that. I would have took Bond over Alcor all day. And twice on Sundays. I really believe that much about what I saw. And so to me, he would have to be my most overrated player on defense. On offense, I'm going with Bo Scarborough. We want a run game so bad that the moment we saw Bo just break 2 tackles, we was ready. We was done. He was certified for us. Like what? He broke a tackle? He fell forward. Yes, this is the next running back. And I believe fans believe that. But to me, I think that the praise that he got was a little too high. Now, again, hopefully this subscriber don't send me no more questions because he got us up in arms. Because he also asks, who is the most underrated player on the team? So we start this one off with you, Detroit Drew.
No brainer. And I don't know if people are gonna take this the right way, but it's Stafford. Stafford is the most underrated player in the entire NFL, if not NFL history. People do not put enough respect on his name. If it's not for Stafford, there's really no hope of watching the Lions this year, man. He's the heart and soul of our offense, and we need him every single week. You guys seen it last year firsthand. He goes down. We did not win a single game. 0, zip, nada, 0 wins after Stafford went down. He is a top 10, if not top 8 quarterback in the league. It's why we paid him the big bucks. People need to start respecting our boy Stafford.
Okay. Andrew, who is the most underrated player on the Lions?
Yo, first out, I got to shout out Nomis J, fellow DSA member in the chat. What's up, Nomis? Man, Desmond Trufant is by far the most underrated player. I totally agree with the Stafford thing, but I'm not even going to get into that because that's a whole entire video in and of itself.
Oh, you know what? Really quick, before you go further, let me say this really quick. I got to jump in and say this. Tomorrow, people, I get challenged to a debate with someone who wants to debate about Matthew Stafford. And his argument is that Stafford should have won a playoff game by now. And my argument is well, not necessarily true. So that will be happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'm going to say it again. 7 p.m. I get challenged by a subscriber to debate Matthew Stafford. You do not want to miss this one. Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, man. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you are not familiar with Atlanta, then a lot of people don't know about Desmond Trufant. Just like when Glover Quin first came over, people are like, yo, who is this guy? They had to do their research. But Glover Quin was a dog, and I said he was going to be a dog. Desmond Trufant had 4 picks last year and did not even play a full season. He was up there with like the top 10 like cornerbacks in terms of picks. And he was playing, I think he only played like single digit games. So he played basically half a season and had 4 picks. The dude has been the number 1 cornerback out in Atlanta for years. He's played on a Super Bowl defense, and people are crazy to not think that this guy is a beast. Go watch the tape. You need to see it.
Listen, I can't shoot nothing down today. It's one of them days. I can't do it. Rachel, who is the most underrated player on the Detroit Lions?
Now, see, this is just the antithesis of the last question because many Lions players are underrated. I mean, it's Stafford for the reasons that Detroit Drew mentioned. It's Kenny Golladay because he got snubbed in the Pro Bowl. It's outside of fantasy, it's Marvin Jones Jr. because, you know, people that play fantasy, they know what kind of points he's putting up for you, but nobody ever includes him in their lists of wide receivers or anything like that. And he has been insanely productive since coming to Detroit. I mean, just compare him statistically to his play in Cincy to where it is now. It's Tracy Walker. Nobody talks about him outside of Detroit. It's, you know, for me, it's like this question is the list can go on because there are some seriously good players on our team that will never be talked about outside of our fan base. That makes them underrated, but that's what they should be living for, honestly.
Okay, all right. Well, I put it like this. This is a question that I think he knew what he was doing. He was being strategic with it. But J-Mo, most underrated. J-Mo, no rants, J-Mo.
Hey man, you should have told the subscriber that he should have did that debate with me. But it's all good.
Hey, if y'all want to see who it is, go to my Twitter. It's a nice little thread of us going back and forth. So
yeah, but yeah, I would say just like Rachel, I can't just pick one player, but of course, y'all know I'm going with Matthew Stafford. Like, come on. Like, I wanted to go with Marvin Jones because I think he's at an elite caliber, close to that level, but it's obviously Stafford. We don't have to really go over all of the stuff with Stafford, but the main thing I'll say is the stat you talked about last week. He's the most aggressive QB in the NFL with almost the least amount of separation. And, you know, people always say whatever they want about Stafford, and we tell them, without Stafford, we 2-14 every year. We lost Stafford, we 3-12. So that's our reality without our quarterback. But on defense, it's definitely Jelani Tavai. I think the guy that Bill Belichick was in love with, that's what I'm going to start calling him. The guy that Bill Belichick was in love with. Like, for real. Like, hey, Bill Belichick loved this dude. The guy Bill Belichick was in love with was very solid for us last year, was our best linebacker, and I think he's only going to improve. I think he's a really special player, and playing next to Jamie Collins is going to make him have a breakout year. I think Jelani Tavai is extremely underrated.
Okay. Now, again, if you just joined us, please make sure you hit that like button. There is a total of 78 in here, and I'm seeing 62 likes. So if we can get that to closer to 70, we really appreciate it. And the support of it all. Now, listen. Motorcity Thanos, I'm going to give you your shot to say you're underrated. I want to go last for a reason because I know people are going to probably think I'm crazy for saying he's underrated, but I think he is. But Motorcity Thanos, who's your most underrated player on the Detroit Lions?
Well, I'm definitely going to sound like a broken record because I got to apologize to Detroit Drew and J-Mo. I got to piggyback off behind him. They actually made me change my answer because I was going to say somebody completely different, but they are definitely on to something. Matthew Stafford gets disrespected so many times. You know, everybody up in hoop line about Mahomes' side-earned passes when Stafford been doing that for years, and wasn't nobody talking about it then. But now since Mahomes is doing it, and he's you know the household name and all, quote unquote, and I love Mahomes, but you know when Stafford was doing that stuff, didn't nobody want to talk about it. Stephen A. talks trash about Stafford all the time about how Stafford hasn't won in Detroit. Like Stafford is one versus many on the field, and he's the only person that plays when the Lions go out there. I heard him say that. I even heard him say, but he disrespects the Lions anyway because I literally watched a TV show where he went out there and said that when the Green Bay Packers got ready to play the Lions, the Packers were on the bye week. But
the disrespect is strong. It's strong.
Yeah. Yeah, but I got to go with Matthew Stafford just because I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves. Although I have seen some stuff online that's funny. It's like people sense that the Lions are going to do better this year or something, which kind of makes me start to believe that even more because people are starting to pick Matthew Stafford as a dark horse in the MVP race, along with some other things. So it's definitely Matthew Stafford for me as well.
Now, for me, I'm going a little bit different because to me, the most underrated player is Jared Davis, and I'm going to explain to you why. Jared Davis is widely respected throughout the league. In fact, the Lions have gotten phone calls about Jared Davis. They just don't want to give him up. And the thing about Jared Davis is he's out of position. I don't think he's necessarily an inside linebacker in this 3-4 system. But if you just go back to when he was in the 4-3, he was much, much better, in my opinion, in the 4-3 than he is in this 3-4. Also, you got to take into account this. A guy playing out of position and still giving you production, it's got to be said for something. There's got to be something in there that you have to respect. And one of the things that we talk about is we always talk about the coverage skills of Jared Davis. Okay, well, let's just talk about it. What is Christian Jones doing? In fact, that game where you saw against the Kansas City Chiefs, Christian Jones is supposed to be in spy. He takes off running with a guy he wasn't supposed to, and that's why Mahomes took off and ran. Food for thought.
I'll get a Cowboy his spot.
I'm just saying. Food for
Hold
thought.
up, Luke. Hold up. Please, God, tell me that you are not defending Gerard Davis with the play of Christian Jones right now.
Well, listen, I'm trying to tell you this.
Please tell me you are not defending Gerard Davis with Christian Jones.
Andrew. 100 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 1 interception. That's how you defending Jared Davis.
Exactly.
Bro, that's like bottom of the barrel for someone that plays inside.
But what I'm saying is this.
Bro, middle linebackers put up hella stats, bro. Hella stats compared to that.
10 tackles for losses, bottom of the barrel.
Listen, all I'm saying is this, though. This is what I'm saying, Andrew. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you go through and you look at everybody that the people get on, they always get on Jared Davis, but he's out of position, and he's still producing at that level out of position. If you put Jared Davis at outside linebacker, he plays better. The same thing happened when the Lions had Kyle Van Noy. They had him out of position. The minute he went to New England and got put in position, he's a Pro Bowler. I'm just telling you that I think Davis is out of position and still producing. And to me, he's the most underrated player that's on the Detroit Lions. That's all I'm saying. But I get what you're saying. I got to use a better comparisons than Christian Jones. I get you, but I wasn't necessarily comparing. I was just saying that people always just criticizing Jared Davis' coverage skills, but Christian Jones has terrible coverage skills, and he don't take the heat that Jared Davis get. That's all I'm saying. Now, Jordan Cartwright says, he says Ragnar is the most underrated player, which I cannot kill him on that. All right, now this next question is something that I've been thinking about because it's one that we talk about quite often, and it's one that comes of coaching changes, and the possibilities of a coaching change. And so it got me to thinking that, you know, and we gonna start this off with you, Andrew. Why do you think Lions fans are afraid of a coaching change?
Because we're sick of having to rebuild every single season. I mean, the odds of having your team go from like last to first are very slim. You know, a lot of people want to use the Sean McVay instance, but like they literally went from 13-3 to 13-3 in one season, and that was the biggest jump in NFL history from year to year in a team. And the reason why was because they had so many dogs on their team, and Jeff Fisher was the worst freaking coach I have ever seen. And I mean, like you just, as a fan, you don't want to see your team have to go through this shit. Because when you're a Lions fan, this is what happens every time we get a new coach. Oh man, he's going to instill a different scheme. So we're going to get rid of all our players so we can bring in all of his type of players. And then we're going to draft differently, and we're going to do this differently. And I am so straight on that, because if we lose our coach, they're going to end up having to do all those things. And no fan wants to rebuild, especially when you have someone like Stafford on your team that is up in age, his contract is almost over, and he has back injuries and stuff. I want to see our team go ball out and go literally just all in. Go spend all your freaking cap space. Go do everything. Because if you don't win with Stafford right now, the odds of you winning when we don't have Stafford drop significantly.
Listen. Sometimes, when Andrew come on, especially him and Real, I don't know what I would be getting, but I know they gonna say something that's gonna have me thinking like, yeah, that's why I like that you in the DSA. You brought that life. You brought that life. I like what you did there, buddy. All right, listen. I'm not killing it. Detroit Drew, why do you think people are afraid of a coaching change in Detroit?
Be honest with you, man. I don't know why. I don't get it. It's maybe because we were lied to or deceived when we thought that they said that he was going to be the guy to make us better than 9-7 in what, 3 years now? Is it 3 years already? Man, time flies when you're having a miserable time. He hasn't come close to that yet. So when you bring somebody in, whether if it's NFL, whether if it's McDonald's, and you don't meet your production levels, at the end of the day, they're probably going to move on and hire someone who will meet that criteria. For right now, he hasn't done it yet. And if he doesn't do it this year, that's 4 strikes and you're out if we're going to play Little League right now. I don't get why people are just so content with he's going to get better. He's going to be – that's not what we were told. If that's what we were told, we would have a total different conversation right now of, okay, this is what he did different this year, and this is what worked, and this is what didn't work. He's got to improve better on that. We were fed lies from the get-go, and it's kind of just made it split the fan base in half. We're all divided on where we stand on this right now. I just can't wrap my mind around why someone would say, I'm never going to be ready to move on from a coach, no matter what it is. We can look at the Red Wings, who've been probably the best team in Detroit in the last 30 years, at least consistently. When
probably?
they got, without a shadow of a doubt. I was just trying to be generous, J-Mo. If at the end of the day they got to move coaches, that's what they got to do. I'm never going to be opposed to it. It can come back and bite you, but if that's what they think is best for business, it's what you got to do.
Okay. All right. So again, I want people to know that we got 60 something. Oh, they dropping like fly. They don't like that talk, but we got 60 some people in the chat. We got 62 likes, 63. Get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it going. If you are still with us, hit us with that emoji, letting us know you're still with us. We are going to be here getting this thing going, and we're going to be jumping into your questions real soon. Rachel, why do you think Lion fans are afraid of a coaching change?
My personal opinion as a Lions fan and why I am afraid of a coaching change is that I do not want to waste the last few good years of Matthew Stafford's career. I want more than anything for him to be able to finally silence all of this nonsense that happens around him every year. I mean, we were just talking about how he's underrated. He is just constantly taking the brunt of he hasn't won anything. And, there's the constant debates like, well, quarterback stats aren't a win. And my biggest fear in another coaching change is if that does lead to a rebuild or, even if it's just the start of one where that next coach is trying to pick their players and they're kind of switching everything in and out. Maybe they change coordinators. I mean, how many coaching changes and coordinator changes has this man seen? That's my biggest fear. I just want him to be able to rub it in everybody's faces. And if he doesn't get to because of another coaching change, that's just going to make me so sad.
Okay, listen, that's a good point. What say you, J-Mo? Why do you think people are afraid of a coaching change?
Well, talking to you, Rachel, my biggest fear isn't what you said. It's that happening and him going to another team and doing everything you just said. Because
that's scary too.
I see it, and I see the interview now. So how was it with the Lions? Well, they really never gave me anything. And it was just, I can see it right now. It was just me and Calvin. I had Sue, but they traded him away. Anyway, I think what scares Lions fans is a little bit of ignorance and a little bit of delusion. Because although that I agree with Rachel, I don't want to lose Matthew Stafford, but that's not. I still want a different coach. even though I know if Stafford don't make it through this coach, he probably not gonna make it. But I still need a different coach. And I think a lot of Lions fans, they want to believe what Bob Quinn said. They want to believe in this Patriot way. They want to believe that he is some special guy. He's a rocket scientist. He's the guy that's going to take us to the top. That's what they want to believe. But it ain't true. You know, I'm going to keep saying it. If we, go to the top, it's not going to be Matt Patricia. I'm sorry. It's going to be somebody else on the football team to help us out. But with Matt Patricia, I just feel like fans are just a little bit like they just delusional. They don't know what it's like. They just so used to losing. They don't know what it's like to have a great coach. So they just want to keep this bad coach because it's like what they used to. It's like just keep stabbing themselves with the needle because it feel good. Because I couldn't tell you or defend wanting to keep a coach that hasn't been winning regardless of whatever reasons you want to throw out there. I think a lot of fans, they don't know no better. Because as scared as I am of losing Stafford forever, I still want a different coach. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, listen. At the end of the day, listen. I hear everything everybody is saying. Motorcity Thanos. Why do you think people are afraid of a coaching change?
I mean, obviously it can be a multitude of reasons. But the one that I would probably go with would be because when every new coach comes in, like with Matt Patricia, they're going to want their players. So, a lot of people's fan favorite players are probably out the door, depending on, who some of them are. So I think, and some just don't want to deal with the carousel of coaches coming in and out, in and out, and in and out. And that, the real fans, they want to win. Like me, I want to win. And that's why I was arguing like you to have Patricia gone. And I just think that everybody that said give him one more year, that was just asinine talk because you go 6 games first season, then 3 games the next. And if my math is correct, and I ain't the greatest at it, that's actually going backwards and not forward. And according to Bob Quinn, 9 and 7 wasn't good enough. So, at the same time, you want to win, but I don't know how I would feel about a coaching change. But I don't know if Matt Patricia this year, for a fact, wins anything less than 10 games, I want him fired.
Okay. Here's my thing. I think most of us are afraid of a coaching change for all the reasons you guys listed. But I think the biggest problem is we feel as if though that one of the reasons we're losing so much is because we don't have this continuity. And when they look at the teams who are winning, they say that they have a coaching continuity. But there's a big factor into this continuity that they speak of those winning teams. They're winning. And so when you're winning, you don't fire people when you're winning. If you're doing your job, if I ask you to fix my brakes and you're fixing my brakes and the brakes are fixed, I don't get to be able to say I'm not paying you. So I think I know, son. I'm a priest, son. Let me do this. I got this. I got it. Okay. My baby be like, listen, that's right, daddy. Tell him. I'm saying the difference between what we doing and what other people doing is this. Those organizations who do that, those coaches have done enough to warrant getting more time to right the ship. Those coaches have had a consistency in winning. And when you've had a consistency in winning, then yes, there's going to be a consistency in coaching. When your consistency in winning runs out, then that's the problem. And the problem with the Lions right now is we're not producing. As you can see right there from Jordan Cartwright, he says, what is he producing, Luke? That's the question. I don't know, because right now the perception is still the same. So that's why I think they're afraid of it. And I think that's within their right. Now, again, I know, son, it's sad to me too. Now, again, when if you just joined the show, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe. Let us know you in the building. And then we're going to go on to this next question, because in talking about a possible coaching change, I just happened to notice through some research, and it got me to thinking about it from the same standpoint is if the Lions, for some reason, like if things just don't work out for some strange, odd reason, okay, should the Lions consider their next head coach from somebody already on their staff? We're going to start this off with you, Rachel.
I thought on this today, and I just don't know who the guy would be. from their staff, you know? I don't have a strong opinion towards anyone on their staff at the moment that makes my answer yes, it should be. I know a lot of people are for potentially Bevel taking over, but to me, that's one of those if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of things. And I think he's a great offensive coordinator. So, you know, why move him away from that? So in my opinion, I'm saying look outside the team. There's not really a standout for me that's like, yes, this guy.
Okay. Mr. 313 J-Mo, what are your thoughts? If things don't work out, should the Lions promote their next head coach from somebody off this team?
Heck to the no. No.
Go ahead, man. I'm with you.
No. Please, no. One thing you don't want to do is try to give somebody a promotion that they don't deserve. Now and then that's how you end up with a Freddie Kitchens type situation. And there are still a lot of good coaching candidates out there. I mean, if we lose Patricia and Eric Bieniemy is still out there, he's the first person I'm calling. And I think it's a lot more qualified guys out there. There's a lot more innovators out there. There's a lot of guys with a vision that can establish something from college. It's just a way better pool of guys outside of the guys that's on our staff. If the guys on our staff were good enough to be head coaches, they would already be head coaches. They wouldn't have to get promoted because we fired their boss. So
Okay.
I'm not buying it at all, and I don't think that's a thing we should be doing.
All right, Motorcity Thanos, what are your thoughts? If things don't work out right here now, should the Lions then turn around and promote somebody from within?
I'm gonna go with y'all last special guest and say hell no, because quite frankly, there's no name that stands out that says, oh yeah, this guy should be hired. And if I had to pick somebody, the only person I probably would pick is Bevel. So for me personally, I would have to say, no, you're going to have to look outside the team, but take your time and try and pick somebody that's actually going to lead this team. And because I feel like with Patricia, man, he makes too many bad in-game decisions, and that's something he needs to work on. Like, you got to be able to change on the fly. You know, like your game plan that you have set for that team ain't always going to be 100% proof. And that's the type of coach we going to need if Patricia ends up getting kicked out and get the door.
Okay. Andrew, what are your thoughts? You think that the Lions should promote somebody from within if something doesn't work out? Like, do we think our next head coach is already on the team?
Yeah. So, I mean, I respect what y'all are saying, but I'm going to have to politely disagree. and I'm just going to tell you why, man. Because when you replace your head coach, the first thing they do is they look for their new offensive and defensive coordinators. It is very rare that a head coach comes in and you're like, you know what? I'm going to keep you. I'm going to keep the offensive coordinator because he's doing all right. You know, I don't want to see us digress because we changed the head coach. Do I think we could do better head coach? Yes. Do I think we could do better at the offensive side of the ball? We're already a very high scoring offense, you know, so I don't want to see us go ahead and change the head coach. And then on top of that, I'm totally drawing blank. Oh, another thing is like, if we were to get rid of Patricia, I want to see Bevel step up. I 100% want to see Bevel step up. The one time in recent history that we had a good winning team, not the greatest, you know, team overall, but a good winning team is when we had an offensive-minded head coach. So Bevel, take that job. Go find someone that has the same exact mindset as you. Bring them in to handle the offense, and he still calls the plays like when Mike McCarthy did. You know, the Packers had no problem with Mike McCarthy calling the plays, and he was the head coach for years. And then go get someone that can handle the defense on top of you being aggressive as shit on the offensive side of the ball. Because when Terrell Austin was our defensive coordinator and he could just do his thing, our defense was really good, and that's what it is. That's what it comes down to. So I would love to see Bevel step up if Patricia isn't cutting it.
Okay, listen. I'm not shooting down nothing y'all saying. I'm going last for a reason. Okay? I'm going last for a reason. Detroit Drew, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Detroit Lions, if things don't work out, they should hire their next head coach from somebody already on the staff?
Well, first things first. Next time I'm on the roundtable with Andrew, I'm gonna do a shot game, okay? Every time he says shit, I'm gonna do a shot because he said that a lot today. but that's neither here nor there. Look, there's a couple reasons I'm going to say no, and one being, I just don't see the guy who can take control of the offense and the defense and speak to the guys and really know both sides of the ball. And Patricia doesn't really know offense that well, but him and Stafford need to have that relationship. And for Bevel, I just don't see him having that relationship with anyone on that defense where he can kind of talk to. They kind of see eye to eye. I'm going to bring you in a coordinator who knows what he's talking about. I don't see that. And it leaves it kind of an awkward thing. And I've seen it firsthand with jobs that I worked at where a manager or a boss retires or gets another job opportunity, and then they promote one of the boys that you work with, and he's not a boss. He's all buddy. He's the guy you make jokes with and stuff. So then when he tries to get on somebody and get them motivated or make them do better, nobody takes them seriously. I think that Bevel, he would have had his opportunity in the past to be a head coach. He's a coordinator. I don't know what our defensive coordinator is going to look like this year, but I just don't see it. I think we have to look outside the box, look outside of home, get a little bit in unfriendly territory, and start doing some research outside if we are going in a different direction.
All right. Listen, first of all, Writerwrong is in the building. Shout out to Writerwrong. If you have not subscribed to his channel, please do so. It is linked in my description. He's one of my featured channels. He's the newest up-and-coming Detroit Lions YouTuber. And I think you will really appreciate what he's doing over there right now. He's breaking down the Lions win-loss record game by game, and plus some other extra stuff. So make sure you check it out. So let me just have a little fun with this people for a moment. Those of you who are still in the chat, hey, salute to you because you finna get some fun facts. Let me just start this off for you. From 1957, since 1957 to now, the Detroit Lions have had 18 head coaches, and you would think that's a lot. Not compared to some of the other teams I looked at. But here's the thing I want you to know about this. Of the 18 head coaches that they had, 15 were their actual head coach, and 3 were coaches that they made interim head coach after they fired the head coach. So that means 15 of them were actual head coach. Of the 15 head coaches that they had, 11 of them had some type of experience as a head coach, whether it be college or in the NFL. Okay? Of that 11, only three have had NFL head coaching experience. Of the 3, 2 were interim head coaches. That means that one head coach that they hired had NFL coaching experience. Okay? So, what does that all mean? That means that the Detroit Lions losing has been a result of being the proving grounds for coaches. You want to know why people keep taking the job here in Detroit? Because guess what? If I do good here, I'm a legend. And if I don't, well, it's Detroit. That's how they look at it. The Detroit Lions' problems is not having an issue of hiring from within. So let me show you what's going on. Now, I just told you how many people had NFL head coaching experience. But let's go back to that number 11. 11 is the number, people. Of the 11 head coaches on the team, 5 were hired from within. Of the 5 hired from within, 2 were successful. One being the guy who won a 1957 championship, the other being Wayne Fonts, who got us to the divisional round in 1991. Now, what does that mean? That means that all the other people that they brought in, were literally brought in to do nothing but to try to establish themselves here. The Detroit Lions need to start hiring people with head coaching experience. Period. They need to hire people with NFL head coaching experience. Let me give you some more numbers. The Detroit Lions, since 1957, have had 9 general managers. 9, that's the number. 9 general managers. Of the 9, only 1 had previous general manager experience. So stay with me, people, when I say this. All I'm pointing out to you is this. The Detroit Lions issues isn't about a coaching carousel. It's about hiring the right people. The Detroit Lions problem has nothing to do with us being able to hire from within. The evidence show that if you're going to change a culture, legitimately change a culture, you need to hire somebody outside of the said culture with coaching experience. I got more numbers, but I'm gonna say that for a different video. But I just want y'all to be aware that when y'all sit there and y'all think, man, we should probably bring in Darrell Bevell. The evidence supports that Darrell Bevell would do no better here than the other previous head coaches because he would have come in with no head coaching experience. I just want to put that food for thought out there for y'all people. I think that the reality of it is always going to show when you just do a little research. Now, I know some people may disagree with me and may think I'm crazy. And yes, I do see the D Hype says, hell no, John Harbaugh. You got to get somebody with some coaching experience, head coaching experience. Okay. So just the food for thought. Now, anybody got any rebuttal to that?
Can I ask one question before you move on also?
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're basically saying you will hire from within, right?
I would not. Correct.
You will not? Okay. You said you would not hire from within?
That is correct. Based on the history, that has been the problem for us losing. You essentially get a guy who has a terrible season, and then because they have a terrible season, you hire one of his staff members, like he's supposed to be the next second coming, and they're not getting it. They're not getting it right. They're not getting it right with the person that they're hiring. So you need to hire somebody who comes in with a great deal of coaching experience to be able to put us on the map. Okay.
Right. Okay. That's what I was basically trying to say. Okay. I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were saying you should hire from within. But yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying.
Okay. Anybody else?
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, so Luke, I hear what you're saying. But what other head coach from the league is going to, first of all, not have a head coaching job and then come to the Lions and turn us around? If you have head coaching experience in the league right now and you are currently unemployed, what makes you think that this guy's going to come to Detroit of all franchises and turn our team around?
I can tell you 2 reasons why. One, because the NFL is a carousel of recyclable coaches. Once you get into this little boys club, you in it. There is a rotation of people that is constantly there. And so you can always do it. Right now, there's a head coach who just happened to be sitting there trying to find a job in Rex Ryan, who for the betterment gave the Super Bowl franchise dynasty of the Patriots hell with Mark freaking Sanchez as the quarterback. And not aging, aged LaDainian Thomas. All I'm pointing out to you is there are coaches who are out there who want to coach, who just need a break. I mean, just not too long ago, Bruce Arians retired. The Buccaneers went and made him an offer he couldn't refuse to get him out of retirement. Why can't we make Bill Cowher an offer he can't refuse and get him out of retirement? Why can't we go and find some of these other people who have shown that they have the experience to do it and give them a shot to try to change the culture? See, there's a difference between foundational culture and changing the culture for winning and losing. I'm talking foundational culture. And that's what I'm talking about, getting somebody who can come in and really get some changes going on around here. Because right now, what it's looking like is most of the people that we are doing, we're bringing in here to be test dummies. Oh, we're going to strike gold once. You know, it's like the person who's been in the same spot trying to find a gold nugget, and he's shifting through the same dirt over and over and expecting to get a gold nugget at some point. It's not going to happen.
With all honesty, the franchise just don't want to win bad enough. That's on ownership.
Well, I mean,
you gotta want to win.
Hey, I'm just saying. Now, the next question is this. Go ahead, J-Mo.
No, I was just gonna say, isn't Jim Caldwell the only coach that they got with coaching experience?
Yes.
I was saying that to talk to what Motorcity Thanos just said. I mean, they went out on a limb getting Jim Caldwell. They tried, and I mean, I think they succeeded with what they was trying. They were trying to bring us to a at least halfway relevant franchise, and once they reach that bar, then they listen to Bob Quinn like idiots. But before that, they at least tried with Jim Caldwell, and Jim Schwartz didn't have no experience, but Caldwell was an okay pickup. It hasn't been the worst we've done.
Hey, I'm just saying. Now, the next question comes up, and then we're going to get to y'all questions. It was a poll that was done by the Detroit Free Press, and they wanted to find out what was the approval rate of Bob Quinn. And it is currently sitting at 38%. my question to you on the panel is, did he get that right? We're going to start this off with you, J-Mo.
All I'm gonna say is if we win this year, Bob Quinn theme song gonna be like last year took an L, but tonight I bounce back. Because,
right?
He gonna turn that 39% to a 93 if we win something. But I'm not surprised. Now you were saying like, is that a correct assessment of Bob Quinn right now?
Yeah, is that a fair assessment? 38%.
No. I would say it should at least be at like 50. You know, we should be 50-50 on Bob Quinn. We can't be so out on Bob Quinn when we've seen much worse. I mean, say what you want about what we personally thought about the draft. A lot of people loved our draft. He's been addressing some needs. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to jump out on the limb and defend him too toughly. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is neither.
Someone's in a rocking chair or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
But,
Sorry about that.
I'm not going to judge him too toughly, but I think that's not an accurate assessment. It should be 50-50 because we've had worse than Bob Quinn, Matt Millen, and Martin Mayhew. So I think it should be 50-50, but I'll tell you this, I'm not surprised, but I would have expected it to be a little higher after the draft. But Lions fans, you know, I like this Lions fans. I take back everything I said. It should be lower. You know why? Because we got to have a higher standard. It's time to win the damn division. Have a higher standard. Let Bob Quinn know that you ain't with this losing and you ain't with Matt Patricia, because that's what the fans are saying, you know?
Let me go ahead and get in there then. See, this was I thought would be the a-hole of the group, but it's okay. It's okay. 38% to me is a fair assessment. Yes, has he done some things good? Absolutely. Has players been on the field? Absolutely. Has he missed on some picks? He sure has. Has he made some bad hires and some bad pickups? Absolutely. But you know what? It just boiled down to what I desire, what I require, what I expect, and my expectations are high. And to me, if you want a higher approval rate, then do something that's never been done before, and you'll get a higher approval rate. Because right now, game recognized game, and you looking real familiar. Nothing that has been done from Bob Quinn's standpoint has made me feel like, yo, we taking these huge strides forward from that standpoint. But I just look at it and say, listen, if 38% is what the fans are saying, then he need to figure out, not to worry about the approval rate, but he need to figure out what must he do to give himself a chance to get this team in a direction to where people can eat their words. And if he's not doing that, then I guess 38 might be a little too high in my opinion. What say you, Andrew? Is 38% right?
Man, I'm like going back and forth on it because J-Mo definitely took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, it's time to expect more, have higher expectations. You know, like I want to say his approval rate should be much higher because of the fact that he's brought in the likes of Marvin Jones. You know, Golden Tate was around and he got value for him around a good time. He brought in Snacks Harrison. He brought in a lot of players this offseason. You know, he's made a lot of moves, and there was never a draft pick that was just like, oh my God, this is an awful pick. And the only one that was Tavai, and Tavai definitely
it was Steve Tabor. Chill out.
All right, whatever. His second round picks seem to be somewhat questionable.
I cannot believe you said Tavai, bro.
Listen,
but like, you know what I'm saying? Like Tavai came from a no-name school, you know, and everyone thought we reached for him, but now everyone loves Tavai, you know? So I feel like in a sense, the percentage should be higher, but I love the fact that it's low because that just shows that Lions fans are just like, I don't care what you're doing unless we are winning. You know, so I like that we have that mentality.
Andrew, but that's what the thing, like while I'm explaining my explanation, I started to think about it as I was talking. I'm like, you know what? It should be 50. Then I was like, you know what? No, it should be lower. Pressure needs to be on it. I need to be under the fire, man. I need you to feel the sweat and the brimstone. I need you to be terrified. I need it to be like the Sahara Desert and you don't got no water if you don't win no game. It should be lower.
I mean, I feel you, man. And honestly, I don't know if it's just us being like, man, this guy is so much better than Matt Millen and Martin Mayhew that we're just kind of like, it should definitely be higher. But I'm happy it's low because it shows that our whole fan base is just sick of the crap.
Now, I wanted to. Jordan Cartwright say, "Is Luke suggesting that we hire Jim Harbaugh?" I suggested that the Lions hire somebody with NFL head coaching experience, somebody who can come in that's not a test dummy or here to try to find his loins on the backs of the Lions. I want them to be veterans. I want experience in doing so. I remember when the Dallas Cowboys brought in Bill Parcells and everybody went, but he owed. All he did was get the Cowboys back to respectability. Just saying. All right. Miss Rachel Marie, Queen of the Den, what are your thoughts? I mean, did the Lions fans get this right? 38% approval rate?
Well, here's the thing. I'm with you guys on the fact that with it being that low, it looks like Lions fans are sick of it. They're ready to see more. But in my personal opinion, I really don't think he's been that bad. And where I think that 38% comes from, even though it's communicating what I think is the correct thing, is also the result of just being so jaded. Because, I mean, this is going to be a really out there example, but Bill Belichick could retire after this season or, leave coaching after this season, become the general manager for the Detroit Lions. And if we didn't win next season and you ask this fan base in his first year what their approval rate of him was, it'd be low too. Based purely on being jaded Lions fans.
Okay.
And I mean, like I said, I think it's communicating the right thing. But I also sometimes think it just comes out of a place that they're like, nope, don't like this, don't like that, that's bad, this is bad, we're bad. And so I think that's reflected in that percentage as well.
Okay. Now, I see some people are talking about college coaches and stuff like that. And I see D-Hype says no more college coaches. Now, keep in mind, of the 11 that had head coaching experience, only 3 had NFL head coaching experience. So that means that you gotta think about it. That means that 8 other head coaches never had NFL head coaching experience. Of the 8, 1 of them only had high school head coaching experience. That goes back to, I believe, 1957. He's the last one. And then, so that leaves 7. So 7 of them were all college coaches. Food for thought. Mr. Detroit Drew, did the Lions fan base get it right? 38% approval rating?
No, it needs to be higher. I'm going to go 39%. I think that's a more realistic term for it. Look, he's had some ups and downs, but if you're looking at this thing as a whole, it realistically is probably where it should be at. We've gotten worse almost every single year that he's been here. The first couple of years they were good. We were playoff contending. We made the playoffs the first or second year, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. But ever since then, we've been on a slow decline of getting worse. There's been some questionable trades. There's been some questionable draft picks, and then he'd do a good one. So I mean, he's kind of like taking 2 steps forward and a step back, and eventually he's going to get in the right spot. I do believe. I hope so. But it's really a mixed bag with what we got with him. At the end of the day, we're not winning games right now, and that's what it's boiled down to. This fan base is starving for a good team. I mean, look at how many people we got in the chat right now claiming to be NFC North Division champs this year. People want this. People are hungry for it. I don't think people ever say, I don't want to win, but it's been so long, or at least it's felt like so long since we've been a playoff team, since we've been a playoff contender. And when you got a GM who's just not producing the right, he's making questionable moves, trade away fan favorites, your approval rating is going to go down. And I think even if we were winning somewhat, say we're going 8-8, and you're still trading away fan favorites, your approval rate's going to go down. At the end of the day, though, this fan base is hungry, and if you're not producing, people aren't going to like you.
Okay, listen, I'm not shooting down nothing y'all saying. I think what y'all all bring to the table is good stuff, and I'm happy that that's what y'all came up with. I think that y'all are hitting on it. Motorcity Thanos. I mean, listen, 38% is what they giving us, according to the fan base. Did they get this right?
You know what? Honestly, at first I was gonna say no, and my percentage was gonna shoot up much higher. But after listening to everybody else and really giving it a deeper thought, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. And one of the reasons why it making me change my answer to say yes, because I really just thought about all the times that this dude passed on pass rushers, and God knowing we needed pass rushers because our defense was hot garbage. And I think that there are some decisions that he definitely could have made better than what he did. For one, stop hiring all your buddies, and because that doesn't always work.
No,
as you can see, it's not doing it right now with the first 2 years from Matt Patricia. Okay, and just hire who you think can actually get the job done, not based on whether or not y'all come from the same culture or if y'all friends and y'all can get along and all of that. And as far as players go, you know that the Lions come from a long history of losing. So make sure you get players that are going to be difference makers, not projects. My rule of thumb in the draft is on the first 3 round picks, man, these guys got to be starters. No projects. All of them got to be starters. As a GM, you're going to want to hit on each one of those picks. If you're trying to take a team from the basement to the balcony. And so I think they got it right, man. Light a fire. We need to start winning. We tired of losing. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. Again, people, this is now your time to ask us, the panel, any questions you have. If you have just joined us, please make sure you hit that like button. Y'all have did a phenomenal job on the likes. I know we can do a little bit better. And if you have already gave me the like, blow the chat up. I want some wild and crazy emojis, nothing crazy. Like, don't be sending nothing that I'm going to go pause on or delete people. Come on, but have some fun with it and light this chat up. I see Southside comes in. He said, Detroit, let's go. Connecticut in the building. It says, got 3 prayers. Stafford stays healthy. O-line creates holes for the running back. And the defense gets pressure and sacks. Man, hey, your 3 prayers sound like you praying with me. You might be on this floor next to me.
No, it sounds like he praying for a good football team. That's what he's praying for.
Why would Hater House come with the cat in the box? You know, last time Rachel had confusion about this. Don't be playing. Don't be coming with the cat in the box. Y'all ain't finna be getting me in trouble today now. All right? Come with the cat in the box. Listen. This is the first question comes from King Matrix. He says, how do we fare against the NFC and AFC South? I'll toss this one over to you, Andrew.
Yo, say that question again.
He says, how do we fare against the NFC and AFC South? So if you need me to tell you the teams, I'll tell you the teams.
Is it the Patriots division?
Nope. So the AFC South is the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, and holy smokes, why am I drawing a blank in my
Colts?
The Colts. Thank you. It literally slipped up my head that quick. I was like, why am I drawing a blank that fast?
I mean, I feel like we have a very solid chance to beat any of those AFC South teams. I mean, yeah, the Texans have been a good team, and they have a lot of fight in them, but they don't have that star power with Hopkins that they had. And on the offense, you got Brady. They have weapons. Do not get me wrong; they're definitely more balanced, but you can scheme a little bit better to the likes of them. And the other teams, I don't see them being anything that special this year with, players that they've lost or whether it's coaches that they lost. And then, man, the NFC is so freaking tough. When you look at the teams, almost any of the teams in the NFC could easily be playoff contenders. And you cannot say the same thing about the AFC. So, yeah, we can fight with any team. I mean, when you look at what happened last year, we were in the game up until the fourth quarter in every single game. So I think we can put it up with any single team in the whole NFL. It's just, are we going to defeat ourselves, or are we actually going to, stop putting our own foot in our mouth and win the games?
Okay. This one right here, I will toss to Motorcity. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Let me see. Let me try it again. Thanos, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, there you go. All right. Do you think the Lions will stay healthy this year?
Honestly, I don't really think that's a question you can truly answer for any team because injury can happen at any given moment in time.
True. I think my response is they better stay healthy. They fired the strength and conditioning coach and everybody involved around health. So if they not, then what did you fire them people for? Madison is a science people. Let's see. Hater house with the cat in the box. Man, not again. Top Dog says, wait a second, did I click on a video from last year? Mad because deja vu on the topics where they enablers in the relationship and we get put in the boundaries up soon, close like a break. Nah.
I don't even know what he's referring to.
I don't know. This one comes from Alexander. He says, which tight end do you see balling? I guess I'm supposed to say out this season. I think it's TJ Hawkinson. We're gonna toss this one to you, J-Mo.
Well, of course it's TJ Hawkinson, but as Luke would say, it better be Jesse James. Jesse James better be a top 7 tight end, Mr. Milk Carton. Like, that's what I call him. I call him Mr. Milk Carton because when I tell you that I thought Jesse James wasn't on the roster because I hadn't seen him, that's how bad it got. I'm like, oh, yeah, he still is on the team. I forgot we had another tight end. So it's going to be Hawkinson, but it better be Jesse James.
Broken Lion 69 says, what if regular season Patricia is bad, but postseason Patricia is great? Ooh.
I actually think that's plausible.
Yeah, I think that's very plausible. I'm gonna get that one to Detroit Drew.
Well, here's my logic. If he's bad in the regular season, we're never going to find out if he's great in the postseason.
That's what I was thinking, man. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Hey, Drew, think about it like this. If Stafford has 7 comebacks, we'll drag the trash coach, and then what? What are you going to do?
8-8 is not going to be good enough to make it in the playoffs.
I mean, it's 7 teams, but you never know. You could be on to something.
Is the 7 teams this upcoming season, or is it
next?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, because for some reason I thought they weren't installing that until after the season.
Nope, it's this
It's
season.
the 17 games the season after.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, we win more than 8 games.
All right. Writerwrong says, Luke, if you were picking a coach for Detroit, who are you taking? Right now, Rex Ryan. If you just look at the background, we are 3-14 right now, and I think he's a 3-4 head coach. We need somebody with attitude and previous head coaching experience. He has had that and has had success against some of the better coaches in a division that was always weak until he got there and made the Jets relevant. I would take Rex Ryan, in my opinion. I could think of a few other coaches with previous head coaching experience that I would take, but right now my pick is Rex Ryan. Let's see. Let's go down here to not a Lions fan, but Luke, I think you got a better shot this year of getting the ex-head coach, winning coach out of retirement based upon what Quins have established in upper management. That's a very good point. That's a very good, valid point. I think if you look at the front office, that's always a big key to it. And that's one of the reasons why some of the other teams, like the Dallas Cowboys, couldn't maintain their coaches because the front office people were terrible from the head coach's statement. King Mattress has retired Jason Hans's number. The day I retire a kicker's number, he better be booting 70-yard field goals. I'm sorry, I'm not retiring a kicker's number and he not booting 70-yard field goals. Leave it to real like no Rex Ryan. Stop it, Luke. Stop it. Okay. Y'all, it's killing me. All right, so listen. If you are in here, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday, okay? You're going to want to make sure that you subscribe to all the members of the DSA because it does rotate based on who's hosting it because everybody has different lives and different schedules. So we try to make sure we do it so we can capture the audience's actual schedule and give y'all something to listen back to. We'll probably take 1 or maybe 2 more questions and then we're going to the final thought. This one comes from Alexander. He says, if you could bring in any NFL coach to Detroit, who would you bring in? And if you can't have the same coach, an NFL coach, but I can't have the same coach. Like I
He's
can't.
saying we can't all pick the same one.
Well, I'm gonna go first.
Oh,
I'm taking Andy Reid.
I mean, you were swift with it. What, Drew? Did you wait any? Did you take a moment to breathe on that one? What
Nope,
the hell?
Not at all.
All right, listen, Andrew, who would you take? We cannot have the same head coach. Any head coach in the NFL you can take.
I mean, how can you go wrong with Pete Carroll, man?
Okay, I can see Pete Carroll. All right, Rachel, who are you taking?
Man, if I had to take him straight off of Patricia and hope for less of a rebuild, I'll take Belichick.
Okay, I was wondering when Belichick was going to come out the door, but hey,
I wanted to say it, but I was like, we already have the Detroit Patriots. I just couldn't.
J-Bo, any coach, you cannot be Belichick, it cannot be Andy Reid, and it cannot be Pete Carroll.
Well, I was struggling with both of these AFC South coaches, thinking which one I want, but I'm gonna go with John Harbaugh.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming at all. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a very good coach.
I did not see that one coming at all. Okay. Motorcity Thanos, who are you taking? You cannot use Harbaugh. Okay. Can I use Belichick? Cannot use Andy Reid, and you cannot use Pete Carroll.
Well, J-Mo actually just stole my pick. I thought I was about to get away with.
Well, hey, you got to find somebody else now.
Hey, great minds think alike.
So if I got to pick somebody else, man, I'm going to go with Bruce Arians.
Okay, I like Bruce Arians. All right. For me, that one person would be Sean Payton. I don't even know that people knew who the Saints was before Sean Payton. like if you go through and you look at the Saints before Sean Payton, you know they had Mike Dicker, you knew they had Ricky Williams, but nobody really knew who the Saints was until Sean Payton came in the building. And I think Sean Payton has shown that he has a propensity. Wow, I'm stumbling on my words, but he has the ability to get the rebuild process in the right direction. So I will go there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We're going to go into the final thoughts. We're going to start off with you, Motorcity Thanos, as our guest, man. We appreciate you for coming on and reaching out to be a part of the show. I hope there are others in the chat listening so they can reach out and be a part of the show as well, so they can be in the mix of this Detroit Lions talk. So, man, thank you for coming on. What's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts would be just, man, I appreciate you guys allowing me to come on. I've been itching to have a conversation with y'all for quite a while. Hopefully we can do it again at some point. But my final thoughts is, man, let's just hope and pray that things actually do turn around next year, because 3-12 was a very depressing season. And, pray for me, because like I said, I work in Bear Country. So it's a whole nother ball game when you got to deal with rivals and you're surrounded by them, So I'm hoping that we can at least sweep the Bears, please.
Right.
Just sweep the Bears. Give me one blowout game out of those two games, just one, just so I can walk around real tough with my chest out at work and call it a day.
Again, people, if you are heading out before we close out, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We want to make sure that is taken care of as well. We'll then go down to Detroit. Drew, what do you got for your final thoughts?
Hey, man, great show. Thank you for everyone who came out today. We greatly appreciate it. Only thing I got to plug, man, make sure you guys check out that DSA website, man. Jim worked really hard on that. That should be in Luke's description, too. If not, Luke, you got to put it in there. But for those who don't know, it's just DetroitSportsAlliance.com. It was available. It's there. Super dope. And that's the bottom line, because Detroit Drew said so. Peace.
Support. Yes, that is in the description. Now, Top Dog, shout out to him just for saying my beef for the sloppy writing. Y'all been driving the whole time, but didn't want to miss out. Hey, I appreciate that commitment, because I have been there. Y'all know I have been on the road. I am holding my baby right now, and I'm still on the clock. And I'm still doing the show. I'm about that life. I'm all for the Pride Nation and to get this thing going. Now let's go on down to you, Queen of the Den, Miss Rachel Marie. Make sure you plug that good news.
Absolutely. Great show again tonight, you guys. The chat, I mean, these past couple of shows, the chat has been awesome, like getting really involved and whatnot. And I do have to thank you guys because in that Best of Lions Twitter tournament, I was a 15th seed going up against the number 2 seed. And I really think you guys did it. I like pulled out the upset, the underdog upset.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was so excited about that. Now, I do have to mention we are in round 2 right now. If you guys want to help send me to the Sweet 16, I'm going to throw the link in the chat for you guys to give me a vote. And as always, one pride.
Yes. Y'all make sure y'all show the Queen some support because the person she beat out, I believe, was Jeff Rising, right?
Yeah. So weird.
So shout out to her, for getting it done. And shout out to y'all for making sure she get those votes. Andrew, final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show Rachel some love. We're a big community, and you guys definitely pulled through and got her that upset. So hop on Twitter, follow all of us, all the DSA members. We post crap all the time, and go find that poll. I'm pretty sure that Rachel retweeted. Go find that poll and make sure you vote for her because I want to see her go all the way and just go and show that the DSA community is by far the best community there is in Lions country. So
absolutely. Last but certainly not least, 313 J-Mo, what's your final thoughts?
What's good, everybody? I had a great time with everyone in the chat, everyone in the panel. Thank you for Motorcity Thanos for coming on and talking with us. And I just got to say, we got a lot of underrated players. We got a lot of overrated players. But at the end of the day, we got to have wins. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I got new Lions videos dropping for y'all every day from Tracy Walker to TJ Hawkinson. And as you know, as I always say, sign Kenny Galladay before I lose my damn mind.
Absolutely. Now, in case you did not know, next week, which will be Tuesday, we will have on Man Beast Morris, so he will be joining us on the roundtable as the subscriber. So we look so much forward to having him on and being a part of the show. But as always, people, y'all are amazing. We have 79 likes. We probably could hit an 80 if somebody found it in their sweetheart to do so. Just find it. Rachel, they don't see the link. Just want to put that out there.
I see that. I'm like, so see, I see where I posted it. Do you guys see where I posted it?
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Huh.
Yeah, that's all I was just gonna say. I don't see it.
Yeah,
that's weird. Do you see it in the lobby?
I don't.
Yeah, I
see it in the private chat.
Yeah. I see it.
It's not in the live.
All right. Well, it's easy. It's easy if you guys want to find it. And thank you for letting me know that you couldn't see it. Just go to Twitter. My tag there is at RachelMarieSports. I guess RachelMarieSports was taken. I retweeted it. And the original poll itself is on Lions Royalties Twitter feed.
Okay. All right, good people. So listen, I like to always end the show on a positive note. And today's quote came from a person that many of you may not have met. It comes from my late godmother who gave me a message just before she passed away after she succeeded in her battle against breast cancer. I'm not going to say she failed. She succeeded because breast cancer came and she beat it, and it came and she beat it, and it came and she beat it. So here's what she told me. She told me that in this thing called life, you have to take a second to breathe. When everything around you feels like it's closing in, take a breath. When every time you feel like you have no answer to what you're going to do next, take a breath. When you may feel a level of insecurity, take another breath. When the world around you tells you that you don't matter, remind yourself that you do, and then take a breath. What she told me is as long as I am willing to breathe, as long as I am willing to take in that breath of air, that there ain't nothing this world going to be able to toss at me that can break me. Because that is the essence of living, the constant survival day in and day out. And taking that breath can be the difference between you simply knowing that everything you've given in this world mattered. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you subscribe to all the members of the DSA. Also, make sure that you check out the DSA website. That is linked in the description. Check out my featured channels. They are linked in the description as well. And if you have not, please make sure you get on Twitter. If you don't got an account, create one, and let's vote for the queen. As always, I leave you with this great piece of advice. Don't be no chump. Please do your research. We are out.